Hello, this is AstrAna and I'm going to show you all about astrology. Hello everyone and welcome to this episode. On this episode, I would like to talk about the moon. And like you know, in reality, moon is not a planet, yet in astrological perspective, we treat the moon like a planet. So now we are on a part of the project where we focus on planets, and now it's the time of the moon. But one thing first, I would like to tell you that, well, my project includes various things. It is based on astrology, yes, but then again, I diverse a bit. Like I have the booklet of vegan recipes. I also have now a graphic art, a digital graphic art based on a natal chart, and this came from the idea of someone who wasn't didn't have the time for reading or wasn't interested, and therefore I decided to create it art, because art is something you instantly get. It doesn't take a lot of time, and that person really liked the conclusion of it. So go to my website and take a look on the art I've been making and see if it interests you. Okay? Now let's start with the moon. Okay, like I told you before, the moon is a planet in an astrological perspective, and it belongs to the classic planets, which are the ones we are going. To start it, they are a bit more easy to understand than the modern ones. Your moon sign really is important. It will define your personality a lot, and it will speak to you about needs and some other things which I will get into. And don't ever forget, it's the ruler of those moody cancers. Where the sun acts, the moon reacts. How do we instantly react or respond to problems? What do we feel we need for a sense of security? Look for the moon in your natal chart and try to get some answers. Here is a list of what the moon represents. So we have from doubts to the feminine side, to the mother side. And the moon is both our inner child and our inner mother. It is responsive, receptive, and reflective. The moon is our spontaneous and instinctual reactions. Just as the moon circles the sun in a symbolic protective manner, because yes, it is the ruler of Cancer, and Cancer is very protective and reflects the sunlight. Therefore, the reaction towards the action of the sun. The moon in our chart shows how we protect ourselves as well. We make ourselves feel secure, comfortable, and safe. And we can also think of the moon as something that gives us animation, because it refers to our needs and what we want to do, our creativity, our imagination. So actually the moon is a very important part of our personality, and we should take a close look of where the moon is positioned in our charts. This definition here will truly help you understand what the moon is. So the moon is a mediator between the inner world and the outer world. While the sun is rational, the moon is irrational. Habitual behaviors and prejudices are ruled by the moon. Prejudices may not be acted out, as our sun may censor them, but the moon rules our spontaneous reactions and feelings. So yes, it is all about reacting towards the sun, because you see, in reality, the light we see in the moon comes from the sun. Well, for some of us, our moon seems to drive our personalities more than the sun does. It kind of depends where the moon is located towards the chart. In some charts, it may have more importance than in others, but basically, it's important for everyone. You cannot escape your own moon. Things you know without thoughts, like intuition, hunches, and instincts, are all a product of the moon, because the moon reflects to our inner self, our intuition, our creativity, and modes of expression that you feel are truly your deepest self belong to the moon. Whatever you feel is most deeply yourself, whether or not you are able to do anything about it in the outer world, is the product of your moon and of the sign your moon occupies at birth. So basically, it's something very within. We are like shining the sun, but deep down inside, we reflect our moon. Regarding all that's being said, now let's take a look to see how they act or react in each sign. Okay, so regarding fire insecurities and dependencies and the way we see our mother, we can say that Aries the moon in Aries might relate to a conflictuous relationship with their own mother, and it is regarding someone who truly needs challenges. Now, for the fixed Leo, this would be someone who needs attention, motivation, compliments, and they even might see their own mother like a bit narcissistic. Now for the mutable Sagittarius, fun mother, that's the way you see her, and really needs enthusiasm in order to learn. This will be the moon that really needs earthy characteristics. For example, if we start with Capricorn, which refers to someone who needs responsibility and respect, and might see their own mother with a bit of resistance. If we talk about Taurus, we have an easy relationship with our mother, because remember, the ruler of Taurus is Venus, and also is someone who needs pleasure and also to give off pleasure. Okay, now Virgo. When we talk about Virgo, we talk about, well, the moon in Virgo is for someone who needs to rationalize, to be useful, to work, and they might see their own mother like a more critical one, because this is all characteristics of Virgo. If you apply the needs to the characteristics of the sign, you will see how the moon behaves. Okay, now speaking about the moon in air signs. So when the moon is in air, it needs air characteristics like being sociable, being talkative, rational, being brilliant. But more precisely, if we speak about a cardinal Libra, this person will need commitment, will need to be in a couple, and they might even see their own mother as more conventional, and their own mother wants them to be normal. Okay, we move on to Aquarius, and in this case, they might see their mother as a bit cold. They need, this person who has the moon in Aquarius might need either a different relationship or a very traditional type of relationships. And then we have Gemini. Gemini needs interaction, correspondence, needs to talk and to communicate. Clearly, the moon on a water sign will need everything related to feelings, and this moon is home in the cardinal Cancer, which will mean the person needs a lot of protection, a lot of cuddles and care, and they even might see their own mother as a big sister or a big child, I would say. Okay, moving on to Scorpio, they might see their relationship with their own mother like tempestuous, I would say, like in the middle of a storm, and because this person needs passion and needs adrenaline, so the characteristics of Scorpio are on their needs. And finally, we have the whipping mother, the victim and yet very affectuous and religious Pisces mother. And the person who has the moon in Pisces has definitely a lot of imagination and an outstanding intuition. Okay, so now we have went over all the signs. Now it's time to see what does it mean in each house. Moon in house number 1, it will refer to someone who's by nature insecure, someone who searches him or herself and has doubts about who they are, and they can even be shy. Okay, moon in house number 2 will be about someone who wishes, who needs to have money, who wants to feel like they have value. They want to feel like they have resources and that they have self-esteem. Moon in house number 3 will be about someone who really needs to talk with others, to be talked to, that wishes to have someone who to share it with, but that makes insecurity in the part of talking. So when you need something, it also refers to your deepest insecurities. And on house number 4, we have someone who needs to have a familiar base or a structure. The sense of instability and familiar emptiness, like their parents were not around or one of them wasn't around. This kind of inside emptiness and instability and change of house. So there's this need to have this family, this familiar structure. Moon in house number 5 refers to someone who really needs attention, needs to feel like their life is worth it, needs to live happily, and needs to feel sexually desired by the other, even though they might have doubts regarding their own sexuality. Now, house number 6 refers to this complex of inferiority, this necessity of not being unemployed, of being occupied, of doing useful stuff to the others. In house number 7, we will have someone who has the dependency on a relationship, needs to have one, needs to be in partnership or in a couple, and doesn't really want to lose their partner. In house number 8, there is this necessity of living in permanent share, of living in two, living like giving themselves to the other all the time, living in an intense way, and it kind of brings this feeling of emptiness regarding to this area. That's why they need so badly someone attached to them. In house number 9, this moon will refer to doubts about what the person believes in, and sometimes they don't even believe in themselves or in nothing. They need to value themselves in intellectual terms. They need to travel. In house number 10, there will be this sentiment of that their mother wasn't around, or that their mother was the most important person in terms of social positioning in the family, therefore maybe didn't give them that much attention. and it might give them the sense of instability in the career. Moon in house number 11, it will refer to someone who has the need of either being a mama or a papa to their friends, of having a group, of having a good relationship of marriage and kids, and with the community participation. It might give off the feeling that their friends are gone and they need more, because there is this dependency on the groups, dependency on the marriage and their kids. Now, when we speak about the house number 12, things always get more mysterious. So the moon in this house can refer to someone who on their first stage of life was afraid to be alone, but now on the other stage of life, it's actually what they need. They have this need, this solidary needs of giving support to the others so that the others won't be alone. For the others to feel supported spiritually in a solidary way. Oh dear, that was a long video, but there is so much to say about the moon. Okay, I try to keep it to the essential part. Now, give me that subscribe, and thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you next time.